Morning, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch on Friday, January 6th, year 2023. And let's talk a little bit about growing food on our planet, on your little special spot on our planet. Now, Travis at the Prepared Homestead just did his video on this talking point, and it's almost going to be identical, and there's no plagiarism. I already did my talking notes on this a few days ago. I haven't had time to get into it until now. We're just on the same mindset. He's down here wherever he is in the United States, and I'm way up here in Canada. It's like a ping pong game back and forth, it seems, and that's perfectly fine. Share the knowledge. Recommend the other person. I recommend Travis of the Prepared Homestead. So with the onset of the Grand Solar Minimum, as well as the ongoing geomagnetic excursion resulting in the weakening of our protected magnetosphere, wreaking havoc with our weather systems and allowing more UV radiation coming in, burning our plants. On top of the droughts we're in and not enough water for irrigation, and the government's restriction on fertilizer uses in order to grow enough food for 8 billion people. On top of what Scripture says. There's going to be far less food and less nutritious food out there. Some are already noticing these things, and the greatly inflated prices of the food. And if you want to eat healthy into the future, you got a choice. You can eat a bowl of Klaus Schwab's bugs, or start to learn to grow your own food, be more self-sufficient, more independent. It's not a one-time thing, throw some seeds in the ground. It's a daily mindset. It's not about coming home from work and going playing your video games or whatever. You want food? You want to be healthy? You got to learn to do it yourself. And it takes a lot of knowledge, experience, practical experience. If you don't do it right the first time, you're going to get nothing at the end. I watched so many times people were just scattering a whole bunch of seeds, and 3 months later pull out those carrot tops, and those carrots are like, there's nothing, right? Because they didn't do it right. People go to buy these little cute little starter plants, little tomato plants. Oh, they're so cute. Let's put them in the raised bed. Let's put them up maybe a foot apart, right? And as they grow, they don't realize that they got to be 5 feet apart. So they're not in competition for the soil and nutrients in the water. There's no airflow going in. They get all disease. You got to know a lot. A hell of a lot. And when do you start? 5 years ago. Too late now? No, you got about another year yet. But it's a daily mindset. There has to be a shift from you going down to Walmart or wherever you're going and paying inflated food prices for garbage crap that's rotting away. I look at my own neighborhood. And I still see people spending time and money on chemicals, treating their lawns that their kids can't play on, and to try and impress everybody else and all their fancy landscaping they're doing, and rocks and plants and stuff. You can't eat that. Meanwhile, me, I'm utilizing approximately 1,000 square feet on my property. I only have a 1/4 acre lot, but I'm using as much as I can. When I say 1,000 square feet, it's raised beds, a couple of greenhouses. If I have a pot, and that's 1 square foot, that's 1 square foot. My sunroom, I'm using that. Last year, I planted an additional 8 fruit trees on top of the 3 I already have. Now those additional 8, I can't pick any fruit for the first 2 years, because the first 2 years, the energy that that fruit tree is getting from the sun has to go down to establishing a firm root base first. So for the first 2 years, no fruit for you. Cute little buds that come out in the spring, now you got to pick them off, right? You can't allow them to mature. You need that energy going down to the roots. A lot of knowledge. But I have a lot of fruit. Let me show you my fruit. Fruit cocktail from my own trees. Apples, pears, peaches. Peaches, love peaches. Nothing more satisfying in the wintertime than having your own fresh peaches. You got a bowl of porridge, just kind of bland, throw some of your own fruit in it, in a pancake, in smoothie. Keep yourself healthy in the wintertime. If you don't have the space, get out there and buy bulk at the end of the growing season and learn your food preservation techniques and skills. It has to be a dramatic shift. And I understand there's a lot of families out there, because they both have to work and work so hard they don't have that time, and therefore they can't get into the mindset. So get out there and buy what you can. Buy a year's worth. What I can't grow, peppers. I insist on blueberries. I have a year's worth of blueberries every year in the freezers. I overgrow as much as I can, like carrots. Use them in smoothies, soups, whatever. Ooh, look, more peaches. Buy bulk, buy lots. It costs you money in the wintertime, but you know what? You can go to the grocery store and get those little tiny square flats of blueberries that come from Chile, South America. And by the time they get up here, they've lost all their nutrient content. And they're what, $7, $8 for a little tiny thing? Learn your food preserving techniques. Get the equipment and materials now. Jars you can reuse. Your lids, you can only use them once. Responsible prepper, we buy a few at a time each time we go to Walmart over an extended period of time, to the point where we have thousands of lids. We always leave enough for everybody else, but we think long-term, well in advance. Buy 2, 4, 5 packs of lids at a time. Start building up your stock. Learn. Get the equipment now while it's out there. And learn. Really, the choice is yours, right? Klaus's bugs, or your own food that you can either grow or go out there and start buying bulk and storing. It's not easy, folks, growing under optimal conditions, and you're going to have 2 to 3 months at best, while protecting your little veggie patch from the ultraviolet coming in. Last year I had 97 potato plants, 97. I lost 85% from UV radiation burn and changing the DNA of the actual spuds in the dirt. 85%. I lost it all. What I had covered in my polycarbonate tops survived and did very well. A lot of knowledge. You got to know a lot, right? You have to eat 12 months of the year, not 3. You got to try and grow during the wintertime in a sunroom and make greenhouses. supplement heat and lighting. There's lots of vegetables you can grow in the wintertime that don't like the heat, but once it drops to a certain point, they're all dead. I was watching a homesteading channel this week. A couple in the United States had a very impressive high tunnel, very long, must have been about 40 feet long, just lined with containers, lots. One night freeze, lost it all. They were so depressed. And this is what we're going to be getting into in the winter times. It can be very challenging. You need to know a lot. You need to prepare a lot. So if you think or you know you want to get started later on in the year, then start getting what you need now. Start asking questions. Listen to the right people. Don't listen to Gene. Last year, Gene went on a week-long rant, insulting people for growing their own food, saying that food would always be plentiful and lots to choose from in the shops. I understand in the United Kingdom right now you have a problem with food. You don't have enough food. It's all gone. Where did it all go, Gene? Gene went on to say that people like us who grow our own food, we put chemicals into our soil. Bullshit, you have no idea what you're talking about. We put chemicals into our own. It's the last thing that we want. We use chemicals in our soil for growing our own food. I know you're watching, Gene, because yesterday's video, you're starting to use a lot of my terminology. I often say, I lay it on the table for you. You said that yesterday. I'm laying it on the table for you. Then you said, folks. You never said that before, Gene. Don't listen to Gene, folks. Right? Fool. So it's going to be a challenge as well. Those roads I was talking about going down that highway. You can stay on that highway, that lane, at the end, you know what's waiting for you? A bowl of Klaus Schwab's and Trudeau's bugs for you to eat. Trudeau's authorized or given millions away to someone to grow some bug-eating manufacturing plant here in Canada. Getting ready. Get on it, folks. Start the learning process. Start changing the mindset if you want to eat healthy and remain healthy during difficult times. That's all for now.